exciting video where you once again join me in the wild landscape of Scotland. And for this exciting video, we're actually on the back of the 1949 P6 Fordson Major. And it's a special adventure today because we're going to the Glamis Extravaganza, folks. So yeah, it's going to be a cool adventure. The P6 is obviously on show, and today's Saturday at the show, but we're also here this year on Sunday with the tractor, so it's going to be super cool. Let's get into this adventure, folks. Check it out, folks, we're now driving down the main drive here of Glamis Castle. We've now arrived at the Glamis Extravaganza. AKR is now following on behind in his old Land Rover. Right, folks, we're now at the show and I've just purchased this new hat. I thought a bucket hat would be good because it's going to keep the sun off me because I get super sunburnt at these shows. And I've just basically had a walk around some of the trade stands and stuff because early in the day you often get the coolest stuff. But I'm just pretty much, I was back at the tractor dropping off my old hat, and now I'm going to try and go on the search for a coffee. I just love the variation of stuff at this show, with all the old military Land Rovers and machines and trucks, and then all just the variation of everyday vans and even fire engines and stuff like that. It's just special to see all in one place. Check it out, folks, this little pit bike here, it's cool as anything. It's a wee Honda 50R. I'm just literally going to walk about at this show, recording little things when I see them. And right now we're in the far corner of the show field, overlooking the grand Glamis Castle, which does feature on a previous video on the channel if you want to check it out. And one of the previous videos I actually explored around here in great detail. But today we're just looking at all these crazy, like, different variation of stuff, like motorbikes. I love these old motocrossers. Suzuki 185, Suzuki 400. It's just crazy, it's getting so busy at the show, folks. I'm just literally recording things when I get a chance. But this hat's doing the trick to keep the sun off my neck. We've been lucky with the weather today at the show. So check it out, folks, I'm now sheltering in the back of AKR's old Land Rover here because the rain has just come on so heavy. I had to pretty much beeline it for the shelter, and you can hear it landing on the old canvas roof here. And yeah, I'm just pretty much waiting on it passing. We were just having a small refreshment there, ready to go again. Here's AKR. We're just basically having a refreshing drink. And we just had, what did we eat? A chicken satay bite from Tesco, folks. Very refreshing little nibble for the show.
They were very yummy, actually.
Yeah, it's quite cool walking about here though. There's just so much to see. But obviously when the rain came on, it kind of just limited us a bit. But it's meant to go off. It's just showers today. And we're so lucky that AKR's got this Land Rover for us to hide in. Check this out, folks. I'm now down in the tractor compound here, and I just thought I would come and look at this massive old Zetter here, because we do like a Zetter on this channel. That would have been a big tractor that's here. And then check out these counties. Proper cool big units right here. I love seeing the big tractors, especially the counties. They're so rare, worth so much money nowadays. Traditionally they were really popular in the woods for doing like timber operations and stuff like that. Check this out, folks. This one's got the double drum winch here for like pulling wood out. It's forestry kind of related, this tractor. And then it's got the big hydraulic blade on the front for pushing the wood in about. Pretty cool, immaculate condition. The Counties is one of my favourite tractors at the shows here. Check this out folks, the Glen Distillery at Brechin, and that's actually recently, in last week's episode, I did a video at Brechin, and this gives you an idea. These are the whisky barrels from the Brechin Whisky Distillery, which is called the Glen Distillery. And just look at this fine car that they're on the back of, or truck I should call it. Check this out folks, it's got the gunshots in the door. It's like the sort of car that you would see in the Wild West. Look at the interior. I'm not sure if it's a Ford Model T or whatever, but no way, look at that. Look what they've used for the plug lead, it's an old bit of barbed wire. Yeah, look at that there, that must be where the coil is or whatever for making the spark. Or I suppose it must be some sort of magneto device that's in there. Check out this folks, this is quite a cool case. I've not really seen one like this. Case diesel. And at this other side we've got some stationary engines and stuff like that. Check it out folks, this is one of the finest Fords at the show here, the 6.6. And it's such a fine example of the old Ford tractor. It's almost like what you would see a tractor driving out the showroom. Same with this Massey Ferguson, it's just absolutely immaculate. That's a Perkins engine, is that in that as well? We've got this guy over here folks. The boy with this V8 Fergie over here, he's fairly enjoying getting it a rev. But yeah, this is a Perkins P3 engine, which is basically like half the size of the P6 engine. So that's a cool tractor, I like that when they're kind of in working condition. That's often how they would have looked when they were working on the farms. Check this out folks, this absolutely massive engine here, a Lister Blackstone, is actually the generator unit that came out of Montrimon Wood, which was a massive listening station in the right up into the Cold War. I think it was one of the main British listening stations, especially in the Second World War anyway. And it was one of the main, I think it was called an X station, and it was connected with Bletchley Park, and it played a big part in helping crack the Enigma code and stuff like that. But luckily this engine and generator setup's been saved, and it's been put onto this trailer for going to the shows. Yeah, it's a proper massive unit and it's impressive to see. So shout out to the gentleman that owns this. He's away to fire it up again for the video. Go for it. Here we go folks, it's automatically starting. So that was so cool to see that Lister Blackstone engine a minute ago folks. I've been walking about here most of the day. I've really not recorded as much as what I should have, but we are back here tomorrow and we're going to have a Glamis Day 2 video coming up, probably in the next adventure. But I'm just waiting here another wee walk about here. I'm just nipping back to the tractor to get a can of juice. Right folks, I've now went and gotten a can of Iron Brew Energy out of the tractor. I've had so much caffeine today folks, it's just mad. I'm just thinking, I'm waiting here, look at this cool, it's like a military tank here. And we do love the military history on this channel. Normally it's the old abandoned military buildings and bunkers and pillboxes. So it's cool on this channel also to see the sort of vehicles and different contraptions of war which is sitting around here today. And look at this thing. So cool. Look at the size of these guns and stuff on there. And also I think bits like this were used for firing like smoke. You can hear like smoke grenades and different sorts of projectiles, and it looks like they're electrically fired via that wire underneath. But these things are still used to this day in frontline warfare, and you probably even likely they're probably in the Ukraine conflict right now. This one doesn't really have a lot of armour plating on it like some of them, but you can see the thickness of the metal that it's made with. It's like 3-inch thick, but also the angle of the metal plates is designed to deflect the bullets. And look at this thing here. It's incredible folks. Yeah, check it out. Imagine sitting in there. Look at the steering wheel. I think this was here last year at the show. The steering wheel's like straight up and down. And then this is a cool thing at this side. This is like an older version of what we saw in the tank. I think this is for firing like mortars or flares, or maybe even potentially like smoke rounds and stuff, just to fog the battlefield. And then I'm sure there was probably soldiers and things like sitting in the back. Yeah, there's a few different types. Look at this, eh? That's the radiator in there. Then this thing here, this is a genuine German half track. It's like half a motorbike, half a tank. I think this was genuinely driven around by a Nazi probably in the war. And I think last year the boy said it's like 100 grand for one of these. And look at this, the machine guns folks. Mark 1 brand gun.
Alright, what are you doing?
So check this out folks, this is a 50 cal machine gun right here. 1952 it says on the back. Look at the size of the bullets. You could probably fell a tree with a thing like that. Look at this, I think this is a Sten as well. It's amazing how far even like the machine guns and stuff have come. And see this here folks, this is actually a Thompson gun here, and this was the first ever fully automatic machine gun right here. It's a 45 caliber. Just look at it, eh? This is what a lot of machine guns were based on this after a few years. Look at that, some grenades. Wow, I just love looking at the guns and stuff like that folks, it's so cool. Even that gun there, I'm sure they called that, is that not like an MP40 or something like that? I could be wrong with that like, but it's just mad, it's such a basic machine gun. And then this one here apparently is like a replica of that 50 cal that we just saw. One of those tins has got 400 cartridges in it by the looks of it. And this is a Willis Jeep I think, which was super popular in the war, and after the war even they were used. I think my granddad used to have a Jeep like that for the forestry, like the wee Willis Jeeps up at Glenisla. They used to have one for the forestry, and quite often estates like that would have it. Look at this, I think this is what you call an MG40, but I could be wrong. Often I know the names of the guns, but see in the heat of the moment when I'm trying to think what the gun is, I can never get it right. But this is a genuine German. This is a German gun, a German motorbike. Most likely there was a Nazi fleeing about in this at a certain time, and the boy in the passenger seat would have been in charge of the machine gun, And just think, this gun may have genuinely been fired in anger at some British troops. Yeah, and look, it's got the drum magazine on it. Incredible scenes, folks, and check this out. This bike's like the thing on The Great Escape. He's got his rifle in the holster there at the front. And then check it out, a Royal Navy Land Rover. I love the character of these old Land Rovers. And sometimes the variation of all this military vehicles, it's so cool. A lot of them were particularly like designed for the purpose of war, and it's just incredible to see. It's smart that they can be like on show like that. It's cool to see those guns. It's not often that you see military guns, especially those Thompson guns and things like that. Quite rare. But yeah, I love seeing things like that, like those machine guns. It could have been a gun like that was mounted on some of those like gun positions that I explore on my videos. Look at this, some big trucks, American trucks. Or some of them could be British trucks, like, but the cool thing with these, they can go anywhere. Big all-wheel drive units. That's another thing, like often after the war, machines like this were used in the forest. Sometimes in the forestry business they would put cranes and things on the back because their trucks were so good off-road. But I love the style of this one. That's when trucks were trucks, folks. And you can see the thickness of the armour plating on some of them. This is what I mean by a lot of them were converted into being cranes, and this is what they looked like after the war. Sometimes estates or forestry like workers would use things like that. Ford V8. I can see it's got some D-Day stickers and that. You can just imagine on D-Day the things like that driving up and down. Planes, Spitfires flying overhead. It's just a mad scene, folks. Mad scene of war. And that's the cool thing with this show. You get everything from the agricultural scene all the way to the front line battles, World War II and beyond. Interesting little, just different nuggets that can tell a story of history from a different time. I think this is a military Land Rover here as well. And of course, folks, this is the Land Rover. If you go back to the BKR Isla series, this is actually the Land Rover we went to Isla on, all the way to the Isle of Isla from the east of Scotland here. Look at this, folks, we're just chilling behind AKR's Land Rover, and there's a lot of the vehicles and that starting to leave the show field. Today's video has been quite a short one here, but I've just recorded some little nuggets at the show, whatever I've been seeing. But I've basically just been in a chilled out day, in a walkabout. It's been cool to see the things that we have seen, and like I say, we're back tomorrow for the next adventure. The next video on this channel is day 2 at Glamis. But yeah, it's kind of after 4 PM now, and a lot of the places is packing up, and a lot of people are starting to head out the field. But it's just fine to have these deck chairs to chill at. If we didn't have these, it would be a long day standing on the feet. Right, folks, I'm now on the back of the P6 Major, and I'm waiting to head on out of the show field. And we're going to be back tomorrow, obviously, like I've said already. The next episode, we're back here, and on the Sunday, there's actually a lot more tractors and stuff coming to the show. So it'll be cool. I'm going to go around tomorrow and record things that I've never seen today. Anyway, folks,